Hello again, everyone. This is Zombie Kids Rule, and I'm going to try to get another RPG Maker MZ tutorial out here. And I'm gonna, because it's so long, I'm gonna have to break this into two videos. The first video right this morning, I'm just going to show you what the different options, or I should say, the different versions of this event does in the game. And then in the next video, I'll break it down, the events down to show what's actually happening and how I built it, because there's quite a bit. And basically, what I did was I started off with the most basic concept up here, and then I kept adding features. And on this side of the screen, I will also show that for testing purposes, I have the event tell me much more information about what is happening at each step of the event than I would in game. And that helps me a lot in testing because basically the event is telling me this is exactly what I rolled, this is exactly what I got, this is exactly the value that I'm using, and I that helps me, kind of figure out if I've made it correctly, because if it gives me an unexpected value or information or something, I can say, oh, I know exactly where the problem is, and I can try to, figure it out. So I am going to show you in game the different events that I built, not all of them, but I'm going to highlight the different, I guess, versions of this, if you will. And then the next video, I will break it down in detail, trying to explain all the way the events are constructed. Okay, so really quickly, I'll just get my caveats out of the way. As I've said in some of my previous videos, I'm still relatively new. I have no RPG Maker experience before MZ. I've got a little over 200 hours on MZ right now, and so that's not a ton. And so I'm not the most experienced person. I have no background in programming, no background in JavaScript. Everything I've learned is basically from using RPG Maker and watching tutorials and asking for help, asking questions on specifically rpgmakerweb.com, the forums. Some great folks over there who are very helpful. So by no means I am not an expert. What I show is just what I have discovered on how to make something work. It does not mean it is the best way. It does not mean it is the most efficient way. And in fact, there may be problems with it. It may work, in a isolated instance, for the few events that I'm testing on a specific map, but it's possible that it might create problems inside of a game. So, this is just my learning process, and I'm trying to make videos, tutorials of things that I've learned, I've discovered, especially when I haven't seen another tutorial that covers this, in the hope that it will help a new person like me. So this is why I'm doing it, and I fully expect that I'm going to learn how to do things better as I progress. And what I'm doing now probably is not the way I'm going to do it in the future, but I want to put it out there so it at least helps other people on their journey. The other thing I just always say is that I don't spend a lot of time making fancy maps right now, doing detailed things. All I'm doing is trying to test and show the raw functionality, and then I will invest my time in the maps and the assets and everything else when I'm building my actual game, and this is just more of the functionality. All right, so let me show you, and I'll try to remember what each one of these is doing, and I'll kind of show you in the game what it does. So here we go. We're going to play test. Okay, so this chest is the very first one I did, and it started off small and just kept adding and adding and adding and adding. So this is one, it's telling me what it's doing. So all values in the array. So I wanted to test the use of array here. So there's an array saving the letters in the trap name, Firebomb. Then I'm making it tell me how long the array is. There's eight positions in this array. Now I'm going to pull a random value from that. So it randomly pulled the letter F from Firebomb. Now the new length is 7. So it went from 8 to 7 because I pulled one out. Remaining values in the array, now it's showing me that it did actually remove the random letter that it selected. So the F is gone. And then it's showing me the new array. So I'm taking letters out of the existing array and putting them in a new array because I'm going to use that in my disarm trap functionality. So now it's telling me the new array that I created has just a value of F in it. And then that's it. That's all that event did. Because, again, I was starting off small, trying to figure out how the functionality works. So here's the next step. Same thing. What are the values in the array? What's its length? Now it's saying I'm going to randomly, how many hints, how many letters am I going to show the player? This is doing a random roll, and it's going to say, oh, you get 6 hints. So you're going to get 6 letters, perhaps, okay? So now it's going to tell me I randomly chose 0 from that array. New length is 7. The remaining values, right? It removed, I'm sorry, not 0, an O. It removed the O. The values in the new array is O. So the new array that I'm going to show the player is an O. And then it's going to go again. So that was loop 1, right? So now it picks an E. New length is 6. Remaining, right? It removed the E. And then it shows me the new array value, O and E. And then it's going to do it again. R, 5. Here's the remaining values. Here's the values in the new array. It's got to go through it 3 more times. So it chooses an F. It reduces it. Shows me the remaining values. Shows me the values in the new array. And you notice that they're jumbled, right? Because as it's going through, it's randomly taking out a letter, and so it's going to end up being jumbled. So it picks a B, reduces the array, adds it shows the remaining values, and I'm just going to go through this. So let's see, now 2, those are remaining values. Here's the new array. Okay, now it's showing me my final trap hint. So this is what's presented to the player. For your hint, you get OERFBB. And then this is showing how to remove the commas from when it presents the information in the array. I had to look up how to do this, and I'm quite pleased with myself that I figured it out all by myself. So instead of having O, E, R, I think it looks better to show it to the player without the commas. So that's what this is doing. And then that's it. Okay, well, that's another piece to it, but we still haven't gotten to a point where you can actually choose a trap, right? So let's go over here. So this one doesn't have all the in-game, I should say it doesn't have all the testing information. So I'm going to click. Now it just says, okay, here's your trap hint. So I skipped showing me all those other things, pulling it from the array, reducing it, adding it to the new array. So now the player sees trap hint, EO, and then select a trap. Okay, well, I only have 3 traps to choose from, and I don't have any other choices. I can't escape. I can't decide I don't want to do this. I can't do anything else. Now, lucky for me, there's only one of these traps with an E. So I know this is the correct one, firebomb. Now, obviously, this type of mechanic works better with the more traps you have with similar letters, right? So I'm going to pick firebomb, and it says, "Hey, you guessed right," but still set the trap off with your bungling fingers. So what that means is, when I built this, I also included the idea that selecting the trap is one part. If you select wrong, you're going to automatically set the trap off. But if you select right, you still have a chance of setting off the trap, okay? Now, go down here to the next one. Now, over here, this would be the one where it shows all of that hint stuff, right? What am I doing? What am I doing? So over here, this is what the player would experience with a new functionality. Okay, so here's my hint. I got an E. Well, that's great. That wasn't very helpful. So behind the scenes, it's randomly deciding how many hints I'm going to get. Now, I still can only select from the traps, right? I can't do anything else. So I'm just gonna, there's only one with an E, so I'm lucky. So I'm gonna go ahead and click that. And now I've added in the skill check. So we do a die 20 skill check. I got an 18. Cool. I know I'm going to be good there. And then it adds the thief skill of read, so using a skill system, right? And that's actually wrong. I'm going to have to fix that because as you can see here, there's a missing parentheses here, right? And so the final roll is a 21, and I successfully removed the trap. So I added the feature where even, so if you pick the right trap, it still does a die 20 roll, and it adds in the, thief skill to determine a result. So let's go down here. Here's the next version. What did I add here? Okay, so I got my trap hint. I got 3 trap hints. Now, if you notice, there's a question mark here. So what that means is I built into it, I added into it the idea that I got 3 hints. When I first ran through this randomly, it said, okay, you're going to get 3 hints. But when I went through each of those, there was a possibility that instead of getting an actual valid letter, you could get a question mark. So yeah, you got 3 hints, but you actually only got 2 letters. So I added that. And then if you look at your options now, you've got 4 options of traps, and all of them have a B and an O. So that's not good for me, right? All of them have a B and an O. So I added the option, let's get out of here. I'm not touching that. Now, pay attention to this, because when I first built this, I had to add features. It's a question mark, a B, and an O. When I say I'm not touching that and I go back, I get a new set of hints. So it resets. So the player could exploit this because they're just going to say, oh, you know what, IO. Does that help me? No, because this one has an I, 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 they all know. Okay, that's not helpful. I'm not touching that. I'm going to try it again. Oh, look, I got a much better hint this time, and there's only one with an A. So now I know which one it is. So I added the feature where you could get out, right? And I added the question mark possibility rather than a real letter, but the player can exploit this. So I'm going to pick Acid Bomb. Again, die 20 check. I got a 19, plus the thief skill of read, plus a bonus for choosing the correct trap. So I added that. I said, hey, if you pick the correct trap, you're going to get a bonus for that. So now it's the original roll plus 2 plus 1. It's a 21, and acid bomb trap disabled. Cool. Look at me being all disarming. All right. So what feature changed here? So you get your trap hint, right? And I have my traps. Now I have an option for casting a spell. So OB question mark doesn't help me, right? All of these have an O and a B, and the question mark doesn't help. So I added the idea that you could cast a spell. It says your spell reveals 3 more hints. And so now I've got OB, C, and I got 3 question marks. So I was pretty unlucky there, right? Now, 2 of these have C's. So Acid Bomb, Ice Bomb have C's. So I'm not sure which one it is. Now, if I say I'm not touching this, right? Let's look at the hint. O, B, C with 3 question marks. I'm not touching that. I'm going to come back. Oh, look, I got the exact same hints. So now the event remembers what the trap was. And if you try to exploit by going in and out, you're going to get the same hint over and over again. And if I try to cast another spell, you can't cast another spell. No, you can only do it once. Now, that's a game design choice, right? These are game design choices by you. So the functionality here that was added was if you back out and come back in, you're going to get the exact same hint, and you can only cast one spell, right? And then you have to try to actually try to disarm it. So let's just pick Acid Bomb and see what happens. Oh, good. I picked it right, because if I had picked wrong, I would immediately fail because I picked the wrong trap. If you try to disarm the wrong trap, you're going to fail. So I got a 12 plus my thief skill plus my bonus for choosing the right trap. 15, I'm going to succeed. I know because I set the numbers, and acid bomb disabled. Okay, now I'm gonna which one is it? I'm gonna go here because for these testing purposes. When I made these events, I copied and pasted and added features. So what basically, because I'm doing that, I have to reset the variables. I have to reset the event. So I'm going to choose here the chest is now reset, okay? Because before I come down here and do this one, it would have caused problems because I reused variables that would, and switches or things like that. So anyway, here's the final version, which still is not complete because I already know that there's something missing that I need to add, but there's still quite a bit going on here. So this is what the player would see in this version. Okay, I got my hint. OEMCBI. Okay, well, there's two with E's, there's two with C's, they all have M's, they all have O, they all have B's, and there's a bunch with I's, they all have I's. So I don't know which one. I really don't know which one to choose. It could be acid bomb, it could be ice bomb. So I'm going to cast a spell, and that didn't really help me because it gave me three more hints. Didn't tell me it did it, but that's what it did. One of them ended up being a question mark, so that didn't help. And then I coded these dashes. For me, I know what it means. It means that there were no more values in the array. So there were no more values to pull from in the hint for the hints. That means, so for me, because I built it, I know this. That means the number of letters is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Well, 7. Sorry, this is one. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So the only one it can be is ice bomb because I know that, right? So that would be potentially exploitable. Now let's cast a spell, and if I'm going to cast a spell, or no, I already cast a spell. I can't remember. Let's find out. Oh yeah, can't cast another spell, right? So I do know what it's doing, but let's see what else I did. So I'm not touching that, right? So I come back. You previously inspected this chest for traps. Do you wish to reinspect or try to disarm? If I say disarm, it takes me right back to the same hint because it remembers the trap. So if I try to cast another spell, nope, you can't cast another spell. So I say, no, you know what? I'm not going to retouch this. So I go back here. You previously inspected this. Do you want to try to disarm it? And I say, you know what? Let's reinspect it. And it says, hey, you're the same level as when you last tried, which means it's going to let me re-inspect it, but it's going to give me a -1 penalty for reinspection. And then it says, oh, reinspection penalty is 1. Here's your hints, right? So I got an IBO, which doesn't help. But now I can cast another spell. So IBOBM. Again, doesn't really help, right? Can't cast another spell, right? I can say I'm not touching that. And then I go in here. You previously inspected this, right? If I disarm it, it's going to give me the same hint now. It's the same one as it was before. The trap didn't change, just my the results of my inspection and my spell have changed. So, but I'm going to say not touch this. I'm going to go up here and I'm going to gain a level. Read is now level 2. So now I'm a different level. You previously inspected this chest for traps. Do you wish to reinspect? I'm going to say reinspect now. I've gained a level since the last time. I will not incur a penalty. Now here's my new hint, BCEM. Doesn't completely help me, right? Yes, it does, because there's only one with a C and an E. So now I know it's ice bomb, right? But I can still cast a spell because I gained a level. I'm not going to get a penalty. And I say, no, I'm going to try it again. You previously inspected this trap, and if I say disarm, it gives me the same hints. And if I say I want to reinspect, oh, I'm the same level, so now it's going to give me a penalty again, right? Now I know though that it's ice bomb, so I click ice bomb. I do my I'm going to fail. So I got my die 20 check was a 2. My thief skill was 3. So that's the other thing. I didn't show you that basically the event is also randomly determining Reed's thief skill just for the purposes of testing this. So it's a skill of 1 to 5. So it's randomly doing that too. So I get a bonus for the correct trap, which is only going to give me a 7. Yeah. And so I'm going to fail. Ice bomb trap triggered. You guessed right, but still set the trap off with your bungling fingers. Now, obviously, you would also have to, I mean, this is not complete because I would also have to finish, adding in the features of, do you take damage and all this other stuff. There's a bunch of other stuff that has to be built in here. The thing that's missing, I'm going to go back up here and reset this. Okay. The thing that's missing is that when you're one of the things that's missing that I need to add plus other stuff is that when the player's presented with the fact that they're going to get a penalty, there should be an option to back out. There should be an option to say, oh, you know what? I don't want a penalty. Maybe I'll just try to disarm it. So that's missing, right? So I know that already. But anyway, now let me just show you. This is the event that tells me the most information about what this is doing, what the player is experiencing. And again, I do this solely for testing purposes. And I just want to show you the difference between what the player experiences and what I test it as. So here we go. First thing, it tells me what Reed's thief skill is. It was randomly set to 5. Then it shows me the values of all the trap arrays. So firebomb, acid bomb, poison bomb, ice bomb. Then it says, okay, jumbled array value, there's none. The jumbled array, that's going to ultimately be the hint, has no values in it. There's nothing in the array. Trap type is 3. So there's 4 traps. So each of the traps has a number. So trap 3 is set to poison bomb. So I know the trap type and I know the trap name. And then the length of the array is 10. So there's 10 characters in poison bomb. Number of characters for hint, 10. So now, it randomly rolled how many hints am I going to get. So, and there's some factors to that. But so this one happens to be 10. Penalty for reinspecting at the same level is 1, right? So actually this didn't get reset. So this is something where when I did it, I didn't reset this. So actually what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop the test. I'm going to go back in so I can do it from fresh. Okay. So again, this is one of the hazards of reusing certain variables and things. And when I built this reset up here, I made sure to reset certain things, but I didn't realize that there was something else that needed to be reset. So now it's fresh. So again, randomly, Reed got a skill of 5, which again, it could be 1 through 5. Then it shows me the array values. The jumbled array has 0. It gave me poison bomb again. You know what? I want to try this. I want to make sure, just to show you that this is not set that way. We should get something other than poison bomb, and Reed should be something other than level 5. There we go. So thief skill of Reed is 3, shows me my array values. Trap type of 4, trap is ice bomb, length of the array is 7. It's going to give me 6 hints. So it randomly pulls an M. This is where it's showing me my die 20 check to see if I actually get the M or I get a question mark. So I do my die 20 roll plus the thief skill of Reed is 11. So it actually shows me the M, right? Instead of showing me a question mark, it shows me the M. Random value from the array C, die check of 5 plus the thief skill. Oh, it showed me a question mark. Okay, and then it picks an I from the trap. I get a 17, so I'm going to get to see an I. E. Oh, I'm going to get to see the E. Yep. And then I'm not going to get to see the B, right? So that's going to be another question mark. And then it picks an O, and I'm going to get to see the O. Okay, so the final hint is on the screen, and then the trap hint itself is going to be without the commas, and then I get my presentation here. So when I cast my spell reveals 3 more hint letters, and then it rotates through. It picks a B. I'm not going to get the B. I'm going to get a question mark. And then it's randomly pulling a value of 0 because I ran out of letters. So that's what it's telling me when I'm testing. I ran out of letters. So doesn't matter. This really doesn't matter. And I'm going to get a dash instead of a letter or a question mark. And then the next one's going to be the exact same. it pulls a 0 value because there's no letters left, and then I'm going to get a dash regardless. So that doesn't matter. So there's my final hint array. Then here it is without commas, right? And then if I do the I'm not touching that, it says what is my current level. Reads current level is 1, right? Because I'm making the event tell me everything that's happening. So now when I go back in, you previously inspected this. Do you wish? I'm going to say disarm. It just goes right to the hint. If I go to cast spell, you can't cast a spell again. If I go to I'm not touching that, it says I'm a 1. So now I'm going to go, let's see. Yeah, I'll just do this here. And then if I pick reinspect, you're the same level, you'll incur a penalty. So really there's, okay, and then it's going to show me again, you get 4 more hints, which let's see. I'm sorry, you get 4 hints because it erased everything. Penalty is 1, so that means I only have 3 hints, and then it goes through the thing. I pick a C. I'm going to get to see the C, right? So the hint array, I get a B. I'm going to get to see the B because I got a good roll. Another B, I'm going to get to see that because I got a good roll. There's my final array. And if I can, now I can pick cast spell again. I get 2 more hints. It picks an I. I'm going to get to see that because I got a good roll. And then I'll get to see that too because I got a decent enough roll. Yep, there we go. Okay, and now I'm going to say, you know what? I'm not touching that. So I'm going to go over here and I'm going to level up. Yay, I leveled up. So now I'm going to go back, and I previously inspected this, and if I reinspect, I will not get a penalty. And then it gives me 5 hints, so I just go through really quickly, and it's going to do the same thing. It's going to do the check to see, do you actually get to see the letter, or do you get a question mark, right? And then it'll, once again, I can do my my spell casting if I want to. So this one I got terrible rolls because so instead of getting 5 real letters, I get an M and I and then 3 question marks. So that doesn't help at all, right? Cast my spell and then it goes through the same thing again. Okay, and then ultimately, so there's that, and then it's going to show me it without commas and. There, it could be acid bomb or it could be ice bomb, right? I don't know which one, and I wasn't paying attention as I was going through. And this is the version where even, the only way to reset the trap, I'm sorry, the only way to reset it so you don't get a penalty and you can start all over again is to level up. But the trap is going to stay the same regardless. Doesn't matter if I leave here and come back, 5 levels from now, the trap is always going to be the same. This chest is going to remember which trap is in play. So I'm just going to pick ice bomb. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, I'm just going to pick ice bomb. And oh, cool, I did pick right. So but I'm still gonna fail because I got a bad roll. Okay, so that's it. That's everything that's happening in here. So once again, I started off really simple, just testing the concept of having traps stored in an array using just their letters, and then randomly pulling those letters out, putting it in a new array to make it look jumbled when you present it to the player. And then I added the feature of being able to remove the commas, right? So that when you present it to the player, it doesn't look like a letter, comma. It's just letter, 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 letter with a space in between. Um, and then I just kept adding things. It's like, hey, how about the option to cast a spell and get more hints? How about the option of you don't actually get a letter, you get a question mark? What happens when the array runs out of values? How about leaving and coming back and then making it remember the trap, right? So that you don't just, I could have set it up, and you could certainly do this in a game design. You could set it up where you go through this once and you decide to leave. When you come back, the trap is different. You could do that. Or to me, it made more sense that the trap doesn't change. So once you engage with the chest, the trap is set, and the event is going to remember which trap was picked. And of course, I added in the option for the die 20 roll. Both in when you select the letter, I'm sorry, when the letter is selected that you're going to possibly see, there's a roll in there to see if you're going to see it versus a question mark. There's the die 20 roll to see if you're successful in disarming. There's the option of leaving and coming back, reinspecting, and then there's a penalty unless you have another, you've gained a level. So I just kept adding and adding and adding. And it's still not done. There's still more I want to add to this as part of a larger locks and traps type thing. And then, of course, I showed the testing version where I have the game tell me exactly what it's doing every step of the way. Okay. Well, so anyway, I hope that's helpful, folks. This is a long video just showing you in game what's happening. So when I have probably an hour, another free hour, I will do a video which basically breaks out. Whoops, sorry, I didn't mean to do that. I will basically do a video that breaks out all of this code. So from here all the way, and I'll go slow right now if you want to, potentially freeze the screen and work on it without me walking through it. But this is a very, very long event. Okay, so very, very, very long event. It's all pretty much self-contained. I think it's self-contained. If I'll have to think about that, but I'm pretty sure it is. I don't think it's calling anything else. But this right here is all part of this event. So again, I will when I have probably about another hour of quiet time, I will do another video which focuses solely on breaking this event down. And then going from there. So again, anyway, I hope this is helpful, folks. I hope you're having a great weekend. And if these videos are helpful, or if you at least appreciate the time that's going into it, please consider liking, subscribing, getting notifications, leaving comments, love comments, and I will try to answer any questions that you give me, and take any requests, things like that. So again, hope you have a great weekend. Hope to get the more detailed explanation video up as soon as I can, and I hope it's helpful for people. I really do. There's a lot of cool stuff going on here, and I learned a lot making this, so I'm very happy. Anyway, have a great day, everybody, and until I'm able to get another video up, happy gaming, happy game developing, and I'll see everybody later. Bye.